Good evening. The stars are ready to shine on ESPN tonight like Klay Thompson. He averages over 23 points a game when Steph Curry doesn't play. They'll need him and company to step up big tonight in Philadelphia as they face Joel Embiid, who leads the NBA in scoring at over 33 points a game, looking to become the first center to average 30 in back-to-back years since Bob McAdoo. And James Harden is ready to go. He is the only player in the sport averaging 20 and 10 this season. We've got a great doubleheader coming your way tonight. And our opening tip, the Golden State Warriors. The defense of their championship has thus far been a rocky ride. The only thing they've been able to count on all year has been the brilliance of Steph Curry. So now that Curry is going to miss several weeks with a shoulder injury, the question everyone is asking is, what happens to them without him?
Honestly, not as bad as I thought based on how it felt initially, but they say it can linger kind of where you're at for a while. Just, again, it's one of those things where I know the surgeries are like 4 to 6 months, and nobody wants to be dealing with that right now.
It does not seem like that's what we're dealing with, but here's what they are facing. When Steph Curry is on the floor, the Warriors average nearly 119 points per 100 possessions. That's the best of any team in the last 25 years. Look at the numbers without him. Not surprisingly, they fall off substantially. So this is a team that has already been very much up and down so far this season. So Stephen A. Smith, upon whom does it fall to keep this ship afloat until Steph comes back?
Well, to me, it's two people. It's Klay Thompson and it's Jordan Poole. Steph Curry is a guard with the ball in his hands who is a marksman extraordinaire, the greatest that we've ever seen in the game. Klay Thompson is one of the top 5 shooters in the history of basketball. I don't care what anybody says. And when you can go out there and you can get that level of production from the perimeter and you want to rely on somebody to be able to pull that off regardless of the 2 severe injuries that he suffered, we know what Klay Thompson is capable of doing. We just saw it last week when we were in San Francisco. Not you, Greeny, but the rest of us, because you were sick. And the bottom line is he dropped 34 that night. And then I think about Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is a champion. He's a guy that's a spark plug off the bench. He's a guy that people have said, excuse me, he's better when he's in the starting lineup. Well, here's your opportunity. The greatest shooter that God ever created is out of the mix. He's injured. And it's up to you to step in there and to show that the loss of him can be offset someone. Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole are my answer.
You brought up championships. I'm going to mention a guy that has more rings than all of their players, Steve Kerr. His player development and his patience. This is a chance to work in Wiseman to try to get him some quality minutes. This is a chance to give Jordan Poole that opportunity to be that knockdown type of shooter. Kuminga also, who was out of the lineup, in the lineup, playing quality minutes. And Moody, as you mentioned, to go with Poole, to go with Klay Thompson, is going to play a lot of Steph's minutes.
Look, this is a team that's 2-13 on the road already, and that has been, for the most part, with Steph Curry. So as we approach Christmas here for a team that we thought was the favorite coming into this season, are the Warriors in some real trouble?
Yeah, yes, they are. Because, look, even if he's only out for 4 weeks, but you can't win a game on the road. Let's say you win all your home games. Let's say you play 500. You still wind up looking at the All-Star break being in what, 8th or 9th or 10th position in a conference that's loaded. By the way, I'm not going to let us go without mentioning Wiggins. Mm-hmm. Yes. Wiggins has got to be one of those guys. In addition to everybody that Jalen and Stephen A. said, it's got to be an ensemble effort. They all have to play better. Start at the defensive end, by the way. They might not want to give up 118 points every effort out. But yes, they could be in some trouble because it is stacked. Who are you gonna beat out for certain in the West?
Can we change the narrative just a touch? I gotta say this. I'm sick and tired of everybody saying that the West is stacked.
It is.
Let me explain. Who's running away with it? The answer's no one.
That's why it's stacked.
My point is
literally stacked.
Excuse me, it's stacked because everybody can be beat.
Yes.
And so what I'm trying to say is that we see the Golden State Warriors roll up in Indiana and they lose. But all of a sudden they go up against Boston and they blow them out. Excuse me, they can beat anybody. They can beat anybody.
And they can lose.
You might have to
anybody.
slow it down. You might have to elevate your level of play defensively. But you know what? It can be done. This is not the Jordan Bulls winning 72 games.
Stephen A., nobody's suggesting that because then it wouldn't be stacked.
Okay.
It's stacked. 1 through 13, it is stacked.
Okay,
you cannot separate the teams. The Golden State Warriors are good enough to lose to all those teams every night, and yes.
And beat them.
and beat them.
Okay.
But that's where they're going to get separation. How are they going to climb
When you
if
say
that's all they
stacked,
can
it sounded
do?
at me like you said, look at how great these teams are.
No, I would say somebody's a powerhouse.
And I know you're going to appreciate what I'm about to say. You know what else he can do? Rush back with a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
You never realize how much you rely on it until you start putting on your shirt, start trying to lift your hand above your head. All of these things are going to be a factor in him trying to return. Can't try to come back too early.
Oh, don't look at me like I don't know. I have trouble putting on my suit jacket for the last 6 months. After shoulder surgery in June.
Exactly.
Jalen, did you ultimately have to have the surgery that you kept putting off?
I didn't. That's my point. And the medicine and technology is different for these players and the information that they're getting. That's why he has to be patient before he returns.
Is there any reason to think that this team is going to play 500 ball without him? They have barely played 500 ball.
No, I don't think so because they're terrible on the road. And ready for this? When Steph is healthy, they're still bad with him not being on the floor.
Right.
So now without him being in uniform, they're going to be a below 500.
Very disappointed with what Jalen Rose just said. Ladies and gentlemen, Jalen Rose knows this better than anybody because he played on the next level. The rest of us prayed to it. We didn't have a snowball's chance. And Lord knows what. When you have a superstar that you're on the court with, you tend to spectate. You tend to defer. You tend to lack a level of urgency because you believe that's somebody that you can lean on and rely upon. You can't do that now. So I expect difference, but I expect better defensively, and I expect them to come together.
But here's different when Steph's your best player. So this is the opposite effect of the greatness of Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Allen Iverson's greatness was when he had the ball. Steph's greatness is he's a great player that doesn't necessarily dominate the ball. So these guys still have gotten those opportunities. Now they're going to see if they can make
I mention a name real quick?
Real quick.
Adil, Jay Crowder, a veteran player who's out there who can help that second unit, and they need help, as we know, from that reserve unit. Do you see them making a deal?
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.